Oh, here we are, back in the conversation corner. I love that. Welcome back to the Takeout. President Trump preparing an executive order that he says will try to revert the economics of Division I college sports to where they were before players individually could profit from their name, image, and likeness. That's called NIL. Keep that in mind. He recently said at a conference at the White House this about what he wants to do.
This is really the future of, I think, beyond college sports. This is the future of colleges, because we're looking at numbers that are coming in and the amount of money being spent and lost by otherwise very successful schools is astounding. So we have to save college sports and save, I believe, colleges.
Ross Dellenger covers college football for Yahoo Sports, and I'm so glad to have you here. Summarize briefly what the president's getting at there.
Well,
the economics of it.
Yeah, right. In college athletics right now, there's sort of two paths that it can go down. Either you collectively bargain with athletes, which in a higher education environment is not ideal for college administrators, or you can have some kind of federal legislation that gives you regulation and rules, allows the NCAA and conferences to create rules and enforce them without lawsuits.
So you can pay this player that much, and here are the ways you can pay the player this much, and everyone understands what those rules are and has to operate within that system. Because right now, it is an unregulated environment, and players can be paid whatever they want, and if they don't like it or their playing time, they can go someplace else.
Right. College football and college men's basketball right now is sort of the only major sport in the world that has a unlimited sort of year-round free agency, right? Players can move about,
right,
and can move teams whenever they want, and then get as much compensation as they want. There is a salary cap, but it's hard to enforce it, again, because of lawsuits and the court's ruling that the NCAA's rules are against antitrust law. And you saw President Trump on Friday. I was there at the round table, and he railed pretty good on the judges in their decisions, and he wants to make an executive order. He's already done an executive order, actually, in July. We haven't seen much from that. And you mentioned off the air, right? An executive order is probably not the route, right? It's not legally defensible.
He can't do it. He just doesn't have any power in this particular zone, but he can use the power of the White House pulpit and his voice and the threat of executive order and all the chaos that might generate at the margins to try to get Congress to move. I want to play some sound from Urban Meyer, very well-known coach, about something called collectives, and you're going to explain to my audience what they are. And let's play the sound, please.
Get rid of the collectives. That's cheating. When donors, so everyone understands what a collective is. Donors put money in a pot. It's distributed to players through the coach and the general manager according to your talent level. That's not allowed. You're not supposed to do that. That's called pay for play.
Now, we did not put the camera there to capture Urban Meyer's emerging bald spot. We did not do it that way. That's a total accident. What about the collectives?
Well, you explained it pretty well, right? 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, I guess now, when the NCAA's prohibition on athletes earning endorsement commercial rights, they used to, for years, athletes couldn't do that, right? They couldn't be on commercials. They couldn't get money off of endorsements. They lifted that 5 years ago because of lawsuits, right, in the judges and in state law. And that allowed athletes to then do endorsement deals. Well, what became of endorsement deals? They became straight booster cash to players disguised as endorsement and commercial deals. And so that's what we're seeing.
Ross, what's happening in Congress?
That's a good question. So you mentioned it earlier.
We're going to have you back.
Yeah, sure. President Trump's roundtable, I think, did spark congressional action. So there's a bill in the House that would govern college athletics. There is talk of a bill in the Senate with Senator Ted Cruz, Republican, and Senator Maria Cantwell, a Democrat. I believe they are getting together this week. So this has sort of sparked some action. That's what's needed is congressional action because, as you mentioned earlier, an executive order won't cut it.
Right, because there are pieces of legislation that do broadly govern these aspects of television rights and other financing for colleges, and that's really what's going to happen. No president with a stroke of his pen, or maybe someday in the future, her pen, can solve this problem. But it is happening now. It's playing out right before us. And just in case anyone was curious, March Madness is coming. Ross Dellenger, thanks so much. Great to have you here.
Good to be on.
Appreciate it.